Okay guys, I'm going to show how I create my trees. So I use a Princeton 20/0 fan brush. It's my favorite one to use, and I like to get multiple of them because they have different fan lengths, and sometimes you can get different effects on your leaves using different ones, and some of them are a little bit stiffer than others. Like this one's a little bit stiffer. This one has a little bit more looseness to it. And it's really important because the edge is what you're really stamping on. So you want a dark green, a medium green, and a light green. You can do this with just dark and light, but I prefer having all three to give the tree a little bit more realism. So we're going to start with our tree trunk. And it's okay that it's not perfect because we're going to be covering it with leaves. So I don't really worry about my tree trunks too much, but I am worried about the top here, so we're gonna finesse it a bit. There we go. Okay, to start out your tree, you don't want like a ton of paint on your brush. You want to keep your brush very, very free of extra paint, or else you'll get globs on your picture. So very lightly, just tap the top and create those little branches that come out the top of the pine tree. And you want to find, the trick to doing a great tree is finding the right angle of your brush. You can point it down, you can point it up, but mostly I stick mine on the side, on that one little tip there, and sometimes one side of the brush is better than the other for me. And you're going to do a stamping motion coming down, and for me I prefer to hit it downwards at this angle, and I need to twist my brush just a bit. This is the other side of my brush, and you'll see it's a little bit stiffer and creates a different look. So you're kind of stamping it. You want to let the brush fold in on itself too, to give you more of this complete branch effect, like this. And then as I get further down, I use more of the brush. We need a lot more paint here. I use the entire brush. Lightly stamp. If you push too hard, you might get a blob, so you want to wait a second to use a little bit of your paint before pushing down too hard. Just lightly press on your canvas, creating the shape of your tree. And I like to do a rough draft of the look I want without filling it out too much before I go in and fill it in with more. So as I form the tree, I'll come back up here and especially fill in that middle part a bit more. And this is a very fuzzy tree. Depending on the kind of brush you have, you'll have different kind of tree details. But I like this little one because it gives me a lot of detail. And if you want to, you can angle your brush upwards like this and scoop, so your leaves go up, or you could scoop them down like that. It all depends what kind of tree you want to make. We're going to just fill it in here. Just like that. Some trees get a little bit narrower at the bottom. I usually don't do complete trees because I'm doing a forest scene, so I usually fill them all the way down. But if you want more realism, or you're doing just a single tree, usually you just get a couple little branches down here at the bottom to finish off your tree, and usually your tree trunk gets thicker. So if you're going to do it this way, where you're making more the complete tree, you want to make sure to thicken your trunk down here at the bottom when you do these little things here. Then you can hit it just a couple times. Okay, so that's our dark color. And then I like going in with a medium if you want a very detailed tree. If you're working with a smaller tree, I would suggest using a fan brush that has a narrower fan. This one is narrower than the other one, so I'm going to use this one to start adding my details. I'm going in with my narrower brush. Remember, you don't want too much paint because you don't want gloves. And make sure to tap it right on that corner edge very lightly when you first get paint on it. You're going to make little teeny branches. And actually, I don't like that edge, so I'm going to flip it over. To me, it's more of a feel. I can feel when it's not right, and it's something that you'll learn as you practice. Filling that in. You can always go back with more dark. In fact, I like to go back with dark at the very end just to push some of these colors forward. Okay, so that's my medium color, and then I'm gonna get a very light green. Here's a very light green, same brush. I don't like starting at the very top when I have fresh paint, just in case it gives me a big glob. So I work my way up there. Plus you don't see too many of those light colors up at the top of these trees. Now if you have sunlight coming from this direction or from the front, you need to note that in your painting, because these highlights will be closer to the sunlight, obviously. But we're gonna go across the entire thing as though the sun's hitting it straight on. Just little teeny taps. This is a very fuzzy tree. And now I'm going to go back with some of my dark and break up a few areas where too much of this light color has been added. It brings it a little bit to the forefront right there. So that's how I do very fuzzy, very light tap trees.